10 GitHub repositories, 536,000 stars between them. 8 did not exist at the start of this year. 9 of the 10 do not ship a model. The exception can clone your voice. They cut the context, cut the code, fix the writing, build the slides, render the video, or explain the codebase before your agent touches it. So here is the list in the order the stars put them. And at the end, the one question only one of these 10 can answer. 1. Ponytail. 94,000 stars. Ponytail is a rule set, not a program. It installs into Cloud, Codex, Copilot, CLI, Cursor, and about 15 other harnesses, and it makes the agent climb a ladder before writing anything. Does this need to exist? Is it already in the codebase? Does the standard library do it? Is there a native platform feature? Only then, the minimum that works. The README example is the one everybody recognizes. You ask for a date picker. Your agent installs a library, writes a wrapper component, adds a style sheet, and opens a discussion about time zones. Ponytail replaces all of it with one line because the browser already has a date input. Measured on 12 real feature tickets against a real fast API and React repo. 54% less code, 22% fewer tokens, 20% cheaper, 27% faster, safety checks intact. Use it if your agent overbuilds. Skip it if your problem is comprehension, not volume. 2. Understand anything. 77,000 stars. A multi-agent pipeline reads your project and builds a knowledge graph of every file, function, class, and dependency, then hands you a dashboard you can pan, zoom, and search. 200,000 lines, and a new joiner can see the shape of it in an afternoon. The caveat nobody puts in the thumbnail: the graph is a snapshot. Every analysis pass costs tokens, and the moment you merge a refactor, part of that graph is describing a code base that no longer exists. 257 open issues is what a repo looks like when it grows this fast. Use it on inherited code you did not write. Skip it on the repo you have lived in for 3 years. 3. Agent reach. 65,000 stars. One CLI that gives your agent read access to Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, GitHub, Bilibili, and Xiaohongshu. No API keys, no per-call fees. Here's where I get unpopular. Zero API fees is not a feature. It is a cost somebody else is absorbing, and they can stop absorbing it whenever they like. The maintainers are honest about this in a way most scraper projects are not. They document that the Bilibili path broke in June and had to be swapped to a different backend. That is not a bug in the project. That is the business model. And the terms of service on those platforms are between you and the platform. The repo does not assume that liability for you. Use it for personal research on accounts you own. Do not build a product on it. 4. Headroom, 64,000 stars. Everything your agent reads gets compressed before it reaches the model. Tool outputs, logs, files, RAG chunks, 60 to 95% fewer tokens on JSON, 15 to 20% on coding agents, and it is reversible, so the model can pull the original back when it needs it. The honest part is buried in the docs, and it is the best paragraph in this whole video. Output side savings are counterfactual. Nobody can see what the model would have written. So instead of inventing a number, Headroom reports an estimate with a confidence interval and gives you a holdout flag if you want a measured figure instead of a guess. That is a maintainer telling you the limits of their own metric. Note also that there is a company behind this with an enterprise offer, which is fine and worth knowing. Use it if you are paying real money for agent tokens. Skip it if your provider's native compaction already covers you. 5. OpenMontage, 44,000 stars, 12 production pipelines, 100 plus tools, 700 agent skill files. It turns your coding assistant into a video studio. Script, images, narration, music, subtitles, edit. 2 caveats, and the second one matters more than people think. The first, more API keys equals more capability, and the zero-key path is real but narrow. The second, this is AGPL version 3. If you wrap it in a hosted product, the copyleft reaches your service. Read the license before the roadmap. Use it for your own channel. Get a lawyer before you sell it. 6. ppt-master, 42,000 stars. Documents in, native PowerPoint out. Real shapes, real transitions, real charts, narration generated from your speaker notes, and it will honor your own corporate template. The caveat is editorial rather than technical. That README is dense with sponsor and affiliate links to API resellers. The code is MIT and the output is genuinely native PPTX, not an image dump. But you are reading a document that is partly an advertisement, so calibrate accordingly. Use it when the deck has to open cleanly in PowerPoint. Skip it if you were going to export a PDF anyway. 7. Academic research skills. 40,000 stars. A 10-stage pipeline for Claude Code. Research, write, review, revise, finalize with a human confirmation checkpoint at every stage. It cites the Nature paper on autonomous AI research and builds its whole design around that paper's list of failure modes. Hallucinated citations. Fabricated methodology. Bugs reframed as insights. Remember this one. Number 10 is its enemy, and this README says so out loud. 2 caveats. It is licensed CC by NC, so commercial use is not granted. And no tool clears you of your institution's AI disclosure rules. That is your paperwork, not the repos. Use it to do the work properly. Do not use it to skip the work. 8. Hyperframes. 39,000 stars. Write HTML and CSS. Get a deterministic MP4. Same input, same frames, every time. Apache 2.0, no per render fee, no commercial use threshold, which is a direct shot at Remotion's source available license, and the README does not pretend otherwise. The caveat is, who is holding it? This is HeyGen's repo. Corporate-backed open source is not a scandal. It is a fact you should price in when you build on it. Use it if your video is data and needs to re-render on a schedule. Skip it if you would rather be in a timeline editor. 9. VoxCPM. 34,000 stars. The only repo on this list that ships actual weights. 2 billion parameters, over 2 million hours of speech, 30 languages, tokenizer free, and Apache 2.0, so commercial use is granted. It also does voice cloning, so let us be precise. The repo strictly forbids impersonation, fraud, and disinformation, and recommends you clearly label synthetic speech. Follow that. Clone your own voice, get written consent for anyone else's, and label the output. A permissive license is not permission to put words in someone's mouth. Use it to narrate your own work offline. Do not use it on a voice you were not given. 10. Humanizer. 32,000 stars. A single markdown file that strips 33 signs of AI writing, built from Wikipedia's own AI cleanup guide. Significance inflation. Vague attributions. The it is not just X, it is Y construction. It has a no fabrication rule, so it will not invent a fact to make a sentence land, and it can calibrate to a sample of your own writing. Now the fight. Number 7 says in its README that unlike a humanizer, its tool does not help you hide that you used AI. That is a real disagreement between two 40,000 star projects, and it's worth having. Here's where I land. If your process is generate with a model, then run a second model to make it look like you wrote it. That's not a writing process. That's a laundering process. If your process is write badly, then use it as an editing checklist. It's one of the best style tools on GitHub. Same file, and the difference is entirely you. And it never removes a disclosure obligation. No file does. 500,000 stars and 9 of these 10 own nothing. No weights, no moat. Every one of them is a layer sitting on a system somebody else trains, prices, and can change on a Tuesday. So here's the question only one of them can answer. What happens to this repo the week the lab ships it natively? Ponytail dies if models stop overbuilding. Humanizer dies the day they stop writing like models. VoxCPM shipped weights. It can be beaten. It cannot be deprecated by somebody else's release notes. The other 9 shipped judgment, and that may still be the better trade. Capability is rented now and gets cheaper every quarter. Restraint is the part you own. 500,000 stars is not the internet discovering AI. It is the internet discovering that the hardest thing to get out of a very capable model is the word no. So tell me which one I got wrong and which of these 10 a lab kills first.